What up, YouTube? So here I'm going to showcase a new feature in LiChess. This is puzzles, the puzzles part of LiChess, but now they have options where you can select what kind of puzzles you want to receive, like fork, skewers, even attack on F7 or, oops, excuse me, not C7, F7 or um, F2 or F7, skewers, if I said that already, all sorts of different themes. And the coolest thing to me is you can practice all different endgames. You can practice pawn endgames, which is what I'm going to do today. You can practice rook endgames, queen endgames, knight, bishop. Um, yeah, and doesn't look like you can choose by opening yet, but I bet that's coming. So anyway, here we are. This is the position, and it's black to move. If I was like in a blitz game or something and I had this or a low time on the clock, I would start to get really nervous. But that's why these puzzles are good practice. You can take your time. You can really get over your like immediate hunch about what's going on. Because I might think, oh, white's gonna win. He's gonna play a3, b4, make me take, make me run over here and grab this pawn, and then he takes this one and queens, or at least draws. Like if I can get here when his king's here. But anyway, rather than mulling over my thoughts and possibly leaving some dead air, I'm going to pause the video while I solve each puzzle, and I invite you guys to do the same, and then I'm going to come back when I've solved it. Like a grandmaster can get away with like solving on the spot, and I will talk about my thought process after I've solved it. But my thinking is a little slower than a GM, so I think it would be best for me to pause and for you guys to pause. But this is a great new feature, and I recommend checking it out. So anyway, I looked at this a bit before I started this video, and I think the move is a4, and the idea is if a3, the b pawn's blocked, can't move, and if b3, my plan was to go to a3, and then I always have this threat to come over here, 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 and take the pawn, and then I'm only 2 moves away from queening. And the b pawn has to stay static, like say a4, b3, king d4. If b4, I'm just going to win that guy. And then even if he wins this and this, I'm going to win the race by a lot because my pawn's already on a3. So I won't go into too much further detail on my analysis, but I'm going to see if that's correct. If it's wrong, I'm going to learn something. Even if it's right, the computer may play moves that I didn't expect, or I might see moves I didn't expect, like analyzing different possibilities. So I think it's a4. That's what I'm going to play. And I got it wrong. So that's disappointing. My intuition is to, I mean, not my intuition, my first instinct is to go here. That makes a lot of sense. But it just seems wrong somehow. But yeah, I didn't think that was it. That doesn't leave much else. Going here seems really passive. Pushing seems passive. Is it this? Yeah, I just go for it right away? Okay. Oh yeah, I guess I'm winning the race. Okay. That was disappointing. And I'm gonna win by only 1 tempo. Ah, but it's that like that searching for Bobby Fischer thing where the queen covers the queen. I should really know that. But so yeah, I was wrong. You just run for it right away. So let's see why a4 was incorrect. Oh, a4 is actually really bad. White wins. That's why these pawn games are so critical. You can go from winning basically 100% winning to like 100% losing with perfect play. So h4, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Okay, so I would play here, king here, push. Hmm. And white is 100% winning. Oh, yeah, my pawn. So a4 is actually really bad. basically it creates something for like white to bite on. Whereas here in the main line, white has nothing to bite on. He can't push b3 or b4. I guess he could try b3 and then no, he can't do anything. So that was humbling but important for me to like realize my mistake. That a4, I thought it would cramp white, but it actually gives white a hook. When I bring my king over there, he can play b3 then. And oops, ah, arrows, stop it. Oh yeah, these are the arrows. The big arrow is the best move, and then small arrow is the second best move. Cool. All right, well let's try to redeem myself. I'll give this puzzle a thumbs up. This is the one thing I don't like. You have to rate the puzzle to move on to the next puzzle. I don't want to be forced to rate. Like say on YouTube, for instance, like I'm only gonna thumbs up videos I really like and thumbs down videos I really don't like. So I don't want to have to choose if it's just like a map puzzle. I don't really want to thumbs down it, but I'll just thumbs up it. Okay, here we go. Um, this looks easier to me somehow. My immediate instinct is just to play c3. And oh, I'm going to pause actually and think about it a little and then give my thoughts. So I'm welcoming you guys to do this. Okay, I'm back, guys. I think my initial c3 is actually horrible. He just takes, I take, and then he comes here and wins the pawn. Um, Actually, now I think the d3 is the most forcing because I'm just threatening to push and queen. So this move is forced, king e3, and then I can just take this pawn and hmm, maybe not even take this pawn. Because the nice thing is he can never come back and protect this pawn, so that's not a priority. So push, push here, king e3, and then a4, stopping b3 and undermining the defender of the advanced pass pawn. Yeah, so um, d3, king e3, a4, and if b3 anyway, just take, pawn takes, and here takes, here, here, and queen, and we're queening in time. And after d3, king e3, a4, you can start pushing these guys, but the d3 pawn holds him hostage, and we can just take these pawns at our leisure, even promote this one unless he trades, and if he trades it doesn't matter. Eventually we're going to muscle him out. So let's play 3. And yeah, I think taking the pawn is probably the biggest mistake people make here. I think a4 is the move. Because if I don't play a4, if I take the pawn, then b3, and yeah, I think it's bad for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I bet I'm losing. So I'm gonna play a4. And there it is. All right, success. So let's look at this a little. Let's look at why. Um, yeah, d3 is the only move that wins. c3, then just draw somehow, and every other move loses. So this is why pawn endgames are critical, and I'm excited to do 1, 2, even 300, then move on to rook endgames. So okay, this move is forced. Well, I suppose king f3 is also possible, but because it could stop the pawn this way if it pushes, but this makes the most sense. And then a4 is the only move. King e4 does draw, but a4 wins because these guys are paralyzed. Well, a3 can be played, but then these guys really aren't going anywhere. So just follow some lines. Queen f2 is just not something I'd expect. Yeah, and these moves are kind of futile because you can never take this pawn. Although now thinking of it, it doesn't make some sense because maybe then b3 works. Yeah, going back doesn't make any sense to me. Let's make him go here. Ah, yeah, but then our king can come around and support. So I don't think he has any time for b3. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can let him do whatever he wants because we're queening by force. So okay, that was a cool one. Let's do two more. Okay, this looks like one of these pawn breakthroughs that I studied a long time ago when I was first getting into chess. I'll pause it if I need to. I think I can figure this out in under a minute or two. So I think b3 is the move. I mean, I think if b3 doesn't work, then we're just totally losing. So b3 must be the move. And whichever pawn takes, we push the opposite pawn that he took with. So if b3 and he takes with the c pawn, we push the a pawn. And the idea is that even though we have lots of pawns hanging, this b2 pawn is overloaded, you could say. If he takes with the a pawn, we push the c pawn. I'll show you what I mean. I'm pretty sure I have the right answer here. Okay, I still have to think a little. Um, why let his king come here? Then he's threatening to promote. Like here and check here takes time, but in the meantime I'm queening, so let's go here. What? Wow. Wow, that's painful. Maybe all the way back? Damn. Okay, so I still get to execute my idea, but yeah, so a3 overloads the b2 pawn. It has to defend against the a pawn and the c pawn. And now I'm queening the c pawn. Damn, that hurt a lot. All right, let's see. Wow, g8, 100% winning. In the endgame, don't mind this like -5, +15. It doesn't matter. Anything above +2, except in very rare instances, like I don't know, some opposite color bishop endgames, the engine might not be able to calculate to the ends. So okay, so my move is 100% losing, and his move is 100% winning. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, so I try my trick, but he's actually promoting second. But how's he gonna stop mate? Oh, this queen is not so happy here in the corner. Can't really do anything. Can't prevent this mate, this mate. Yeah, literally game over. So that was very instructive. So even when you see in puzzle, you're like, ah, yeah, I know this theme. This is easy peasy. I just push here, which is correct. You know, your opponent's counterplay is always important. And yeah, I think maybe I'll mess with some of the defensive puzzles once I've done enough pawn games. So that was a sad occasion. But let's do one more. Try to redeem ourselves once again. At least go 2 for 2. Did get a couple correct before this session. One thing I still don't like about chess tempo puzzles, it doesn't record your puzzles. There's no history of them, so you can't go back and rehash the ones that you got wrong. I mean, chess tempo has a lot more features about that. I do look on LiChess that it shows you the game it came from, and then it's very easy to immediately mess around with the computer and look at variations. Well, chess tempo does also have that, but I prefer the layout on LiChess. Anyway, all right, let's see. So he has a queenside majority, I have a kingside majority. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna pause this one a moment. All right, guys, I'm back after about 1 minute, 1.5. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm gonna just allow myself to play kind of quick because I really want to get the themes like embedded in my subconscious. So even if I make mistakes, the main thing is like to thoroughly look at them. And if I feel like I'm on the cusp of something, I do want to give myself 5, even 10, possibly more minutes. But if I think I have the gist of it, yeah, I'd rather just learn more quickly whether I'm right or wrong. Life is short, and yeah, I used to do puzzles where I would spend upwards of an hour on a puzzle, and that's really mentally taxing, and it is very satisfying if you get, say, like a 2200 puzzle on LiChess correct, which is like the equivalent of like maybe 2,700 on LiChess or chess.com, but it's I don't know. I'd rather get more information. I feel like it's better to have the basic information super duper ingrained than to have super deep ideas, but it takes you forever to find them and you have fewer of them. Anyway, that's just my theory. Like when I make NM, I'll start talking a little more authoritatively about my theories. But anyway, I think I'm going to take and play Queen D6, and my idea is that what is my idea? I had an idea all of a sudden, but now I'm all of a sudden skeptical of it. No, I think my idea is still good. So okay, let's just see if it's right, and then I'll explain my idea. And if it's wrong, I'll see why my idea doesn't work. So I'm gonna play here. Okay. Okay, I think it's this move. Oops, this move. Hmm. Wow, that one was cool. I can't resist. I have to do one more. So at first the engine liked this. Now it doesn't like it and says it's a draw. So my thought was here takes, and whichever one takes, I come up here, and I'm going to distract the king like this. This was my idea. But I didn't consider I didn't consider any move except this. And this is indeed winning for black. But white has here. And then it's not so easy because he keeps this pawn. Yeah, and if I do this, he can just oh, then he even wins, right? Because of this guy, stupid. So I have to push. He's gonna come get it. I'm gonna, oops, fuck. Pardon me. Pardon my language, I pressed the wrong button. But I think you guys get the gist. So I said I was gonna do 4. I'm gonna do 5. And here I'm white. And yeah, black has more pawns. We have no pass pawns. But if we can just win this guy, um, a5 is interesting. h5, excuse me, is interesting because it runs black out of pawn moves. Any pawn moves starts losing pawns. But the problem is black can just toggle between these two squares. Maybe, just maybe, after here, if he goes here, we can come around and Zutzwang him out that way. Now he can't come back here, so he has to go somewhere like here. And after this move, if you can follow all that, this pawn is going to be lost if it pushes weak queen first. Barely. He's going to be queening with check, but we won't give him a chance because we're getting there one before. So with all that in mind, oops, excuse me, king can't move like that. With all that in mind, I don't see why a5 is necessary because he can't push either pawn anyway. We're going to take it, so we don't. There's nothing we need to lock up. There's no b pawn or anything like that. So a5 is probably unnecessary because again he can't play a5 while take, and queen can't play c5 without just losing it. Okay, I'm gonna play this. Okay, so if king b8, what if he does do this just to make a move? It still doesn't matter. We're still going to swing his king. His king can't afford to come over. And if king b8 and he pushes, we're just 1, 2, 3, 4 with check. So yeah, I think it's king b8. And there it is. Sweet. All right. I still can't quit. I'm addicted to these. And that's a good feeling because a lot of times I think pawning games are a great place to start for a lot of people because they're simple. Even if they're complicated, they're still simple in terms of there's a lot less material on the board. And it's just kind of addictive, and it's very satisfying to find breakthroughs in. It's just very satisfying to find winning moves in a position where all other moves lose or all other moves draw. Um, yeah, because you could play a beautiful game, get to a pawn endgame that's winning, but one slip up and all of a sudden you're losing. So that's very disheartening. So yeah, for those reasons and more, I like studying endgames. One more. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pause. Okay, I only paused for about 45 seconds. I think I got this. I think, and pause if you want to figure it out for yourself, or just wait and to see if I'm right or wrong, and then the computer will tell us. But I think b5 is the move because we're immediately threatening c4 and creating a passed pawn, distracting the king, winning this pawn. Only other thing to consider is sometimes when you're creating a passed pawn, the difference, like one tempo, is like enormous. So say somehow white was managed to like gobble all three of these up and then starts running the a pawn. If my pawn's already on a4, maybe that makes a difference. Like say b5, king e5, c4, pawn takes here. He's already winning this next move, so we take. He takes here, here, takes. The nice thing, definitely don't want to move the pawn on a7 because the nice thing is his king has to take a long journey to take that a7 pawn. So with that in mind, yeah, I don't think I want to play h5. It seems like a waste of time. Not to mention, if I don't play b5 right now, he's getting h5 in. And then we really have to spend h4 in, and then we really have to spend tempos playing a6 and b5. Sorry, I misspelled that h4, it's a4. So yeah, just h4 just doesn't seem correct. Not to mention, gives white time to start gobbling. So if anything, we lose in tempo. I guess we can still come gobble this. I don't know. Yeah, this is the pawn games. I feel like a really good mental focus exercise. And because there's only pawns, there's only so many things you have to worry about. So it's concrete, very 100% concrete. You either win or lose or draw. And yeah, I think b5 is where it's at. Other stuff to look at, a4. a4 I think loses because c5, c4, takes, push, 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 and our queen's in better position. I don't know about that. But a4 maybe just take with the same plan of pushing, and the king's going to take more tempos, and he still has to come all the way to a7 to get out of the way of the a pawn. I'm not going to like calculate all the way till queening and mate. I don't think I have to. b5 just looks good enough where I don't have to. And yeah, I think I'm going to just win b5. And indeed. So one thing to remember, even if you don't calculate in the beginning, as you get like fewer ply in where you have to calculate, it makes sense if you have time to like double check and really make sure your line works. Although I'm kind of already committed now. Obviously in the game I know I made the right move because the computer told me so, but in a tournament game, yeah. Anyway, there's no other way but forward. So I should probably save time here and then calculate later. Because yeah, if I don't play c4, this move was just garbage. He's gonna gobble these, so c4, king here. Or excuse me, c4 takes, king here. Yeah, and then maybe I'll stop to calculate. But it looks like I'm gonna get, I'll probably win by one tempo, maybe two. Oh, that hurts. Ah. Wait, H5? No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe it does. He's gonna win both of these anyway. Is it H5? Damn, man. 2,700. It's like, I would say on average the LiChess puzzles are like 500 points more than chess tempo. Kind of like chess.com puzzles. I don't know. Maybe this is, yeah. It's hard to say if it's a 2,700 puzzle really because it's been attempted to so few times. Okay, well, let's look at this first. Engine says A4 is the best. But here, wow. What the heck? Oh, yeah, you're really making him work to get all these pawns. Also, king takes F5 straight away works, but yeah, if takes. Yeah, and yeah, he's queening way slow. Okay, and in this position, after A4, I assume the puzzle ends here because white has a lot of good moves and then black has other good moves. After A4, just takes. Oh, something got screwed up here because now it's a draw again. So let's look at A4. Oh, A4, C4. B takes A4. It says it's good, but somehow dropped down to 0. No, it still says it's good. Let's look at that line again. Somewhere I went astray. C4. Wow. And now it says it's a draw. I didn't do anything wrong. I assume A4 is also a draw once it thinks about it. No, A4 is not a draw. So yeah, these puzzles are valuable now whether you get them right or wrong. But or even if you look at the superficial solution, it's just like interesting to dive deep here. And I guess this is just too slow. Oh yeah, I guess I'm winning by one tempo, which is good enough when you get your yep. And the pawn is going to block his queening. No queen for you. Nice. So that was deep. Could have calculated all that from the beginning. So B4 was right. H5. Yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, okay, I knew H5 was wrong to begin with, but here after the king's moved, it makes sense because yeah, why move these guys again? They're both going to go down anyway. And we get our extra tempo we're going to need later when our king's over here and takes and moves. So, yeah, after this, and after here, there's other options. B4 is supposedly equally good to king takes. And even though he has two pawns, just taking him too long. Yeah, we're queening in 4. He's queening in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because he's got to take this pawn first. Yeah, yeah, very subtle. Okay, I'm going to do one more for you guys. Make this video a little more than a half hour. Okay, here we have a position where black has two pawns, threatening to queen. They're not far away enough that they can distract the king on their own. Like if there was a pawn on B and a pawn on E, then the E pawn could say the pawn was on E4. Could just run to e3. If I take this one, I'm out of the square of the other one, but that's not the case, which is a good thing. First instinct is just take right away. I'm going to pause a little. Okay, I didn't pause very long, maybe 20 seconds, because I do want to bust these out rapidly. Even though I'm going to end the video after this, I'm going to do maybe 4 or 5 more. Maybe 2 more, and then take a break at 45 minutes, do some stretches, and then get back to it. So, yeah, my instinct is to push because I don't know, I want to make a queen, and if he pushes, I can take and then get behind the pawn. So if I push to a4, comes king here. Yeah, after king e4, it's pretty critical because say I push again, I think he can just come down and he's protecting his pawn and he's getting some checks in. So maybe a4, king to e4, and then take. He can get to the side of the pawn, and I come here, and then he still gets to the side of the pawn, and he is pushing all the way through. So that's something to think about. So that makes me think maybe I do have to take. That may be the only way to get in front of this pawn. Because if I play a4, king e4, I can't just come here because then this pawn queen. So I have to take. And then after king e3, here, 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 here. I'm queening first, but not with check. And I don't see a skewer or anything. Doing the obvious move always feels like risky in these puzzle situations because you're like, oh, it can't be the obvious move. But that's not true. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the cute thing you have to find is after. So if I take, the nice thing, this is the outside pawn. So just on basic principle, this should be this. Because he's going to have to run farther to chase it, and then we can eat these guys. Like the opposite of the opening where the center pawns are better. Pawn in games, usually the flank outside pawns are better. Excuse me. It's funny, I didn't even really understand that concept until I was about 1900. I'm like, wait a minute. Outside pawns can just mean you're winning versus inside pawns, even if everything else is equal. So anyway, so okay, let's look at takes. Takes b3. Yeah. Then if the pawn pushes, obviously we get in front of it easily. And if the king goes to the side, we also go to the side. If he goes to the side, we can come down here to d1. He can come over, but eventually he's... that's interesting. Okay. Let's look at that pawn. King takes, king here, king here, king here. I don't think we have to go to d1. That's very passive. Because we don't have to worry about going to e2 if we're here, because we can always jump up here in that case. So pawn here, king here, king here. Obviously not push because then we get behind easily. King here, king c2. Wait, let me look at that again. Here, here, here. Not to get hit with a check. Well, actually the check is fine. Here, here. I still like c2 better though because it just prepares to get in front of the pawn in more ways. Here. Then I think we can push. If he pushes, we get behind. And if he moves his king out, our king is here, so we can come here. Okay. I think I take. Okay. And this was not expected. Maybe his idea is to come here. But that should be fine. I think pushing is fine. Push, king up here, king here, jack here. And yeah, classic outside pass pawn situation. Maybe he's threatening to come here, but he's taking a roundabout way getting in front of the pawn. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is queen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with check is queen. Okay. So just pushing mindlessly may be not the solution. But maybe pushing is good though still. Push, king e3, king c2. And again, if here, I can go back. I don't have to do that little dance forever. Push, king e3, king c2, king e2, king back to c3, king back to e3, threatening to push again. Well, then maybe I push. He pushes with check. No, I don't like that. Damn. Yeah, chess is like mental torture, but it's also, I don't know. That's how the mind is. It just wants to chew on stuff. So if I come back right away, and he comes up, or even over here, and I push, he comes here, I come here. Oh, then I win, I think. So maybe I do have to go to c2 right now. If he comes up, I come up, and then we're good. Then I don't see any way forward for him. So I may have to come back to c2. Come back to c2. If king e3, come back to d1. Here, push. Here, push. Here, here, here. Takes here. May have missed a move. Let me look at that more close. Okay, king c2, king e3, king d1. King comes across, gets opposition. a4, king c4, a5, king b5, king d2 takes here, here. Ah, no, he defends and wins, so that's no good. Now I'm thinking we may have to take. So I was going to do this like silently, but now I'm thinking I may have to push again. I guess we do win if I push because, let me see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But once the pawn's here, I can get here. But then, of course, he gets here and threatens to queen with check. And I'm also wasting a tempo. Son of a bitch. Okay, a4, king here. c2, king here. Yeah, and c3 he can just go back. But then maybe, do I get extra tempo? Push, check, here, check. No, he gets like 2 pawn moves. Here, here. Oh yeah. I'm saying, I'm like worrying about stuff I don't have to worry about. He can't come here yet because I come here. Oh, but then he goes back. Ay. We're not a knight. Push here. 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 He comes back. So here. Here. Meanwhile here, king c4. Maybe king d2, king b3 here, takes here, and I win. So what was that again? King c2, king c4. Maybe don't push. Yeah, why would I push when I could come to d2? And he could push his pawn. And then I think I just come right back to c2. He can push again, and yeah, I think it's king c2. Okay. I can't allow him here because that's at least a draw. I go back, he goes back. So I think I have to go to d1. Oh yeah, but this is the line I looked at where he comes friggin' across. King d1, king d3. Push here, push. Oh, wait a minute, he can't catch it. He's not in the square. Is he? King d3. I mean, king d1, king d3. Push, push. Ah, he is in the square, but if I push again, he comes in and comes back in time. But if I go here, king d3, push, here, king, king e3, king e2, he can push this damn e4 pawn. Oh no, or can he really? No, he actually can't. That would actually help me win it quicker. So king d1, king d3, push, king c4 is the most obvious. King d2, king here, here, takes here, and he's not in time. Okay, well this is obviously like a non sequitur. Or is it? Sneaky computer. Yeah, no, I think this is just fine. Because after push here, he's not catching it. And if push here, then I just got the opposition. And I think that should be fine. Whew. Okay, and this is, oh yeah, now it's saying white's winning. This is the most obvious. E2 or C2, surprisingly, both are fine. C2 makes more sense. And if he goes after it right away, as we talked about, we win this and win the game. But nothing else is really good. Pushing is just going to help me get this sooner. No matter what, he has to go just one step over, and I'm getting this guy. Yeah, now I can just push. And you guys know the drill. Win these pawns, we have two connected pass pawns. Okay, that was fun, guys. I'm gonna keep doing this. Maybe I'll make another pawn endgame video. Yeah, my rating really slipped. It was like 2,700, which doesn't mean so much on LiChess. It's very inflated, but yeah, these pawn endgames are fun. I'm gonna do. I don't remember. Let's see how many of them there are. Real quick before we end the video. So it looks like there's 8,000 pawn endgames. Now, considering some of those are rated like 1,400, they're really easy. I'd be willing to bet there's at least 1,000 pawn endgames rated 2,200 and up that are, interesting and instructive. So I don't think I'll even do 1,000, but maybe I'll do like 500, 750, and maybe I'll switch to rook endgames. Knight endgames are very fascinating because they're kind of like pawn endgames, but a little more tricky and tactical because you can always sack a knight to get a pass pawn. So I'm excited about all these. These are I forgot whether I showed this at the beginning of the video, but yeah, a lot of different possibilities on LiChess. Again, still a lot of things I don't like about their tactics server, but it's pretty impressive. They already have almost 1 million tactics. Supposedly they're churning more, so maybe they'll probably have more tactics than it's possible for anyone to do because they'll keep churning out new ones. And they're all from games played on the site. Alright guys, thank you very much. Thanks for watching this long video, and check out the LiChess new puzzles.